What it is 28 is your girl Juice back with another Wildlife Got Me Up the podcast. I'm here with my boy Lawrence Ray and also here with my boy Chris. Now, this is a big podcast for me because I'm here with some really heavy hitters, okay? So this is literally the biggest in 478, all right? Now, you think my podcast is great, but my boy Lawrence's podcast is 10 times better. And plus, he got extra stuff coming to you. He has a whole literal, like, studio at this time. Talk to Me Nice podcast. Man, I want to appreciate you so much for even giving me the time. Chris, thank you so much for giving me the time.
Yeah, that's love. I already agreed to do it, though. You didn't have to hype me up like that. We cool, man. I appreciate it, bro.
Like,
I'm here on the fly, so definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I actually follow your page, and I've seen a lot of content that you do. I actually told a bunch of people to like hit you up for your photography skills, man. It's amazing. You already know I watch all your stuff. You know,
Likewise.
My favorite is honestly is the lab. I love how you are presenting the people in the community. Just, you know, giving them that spotlight to show them like, hey, like you really can do this, and they show their artistry on there. So y'all definitely need to get on that. But let's get into the actual questions of this podcast. So now we're talking about getting into podcasting, also getting into a podcast business or in photography as well. So what was the vision when it came to your YouTube and it came to your podcast?
Man, I'd be lying if I just said I had a vision of it like being this.
Mm-hmm.
Really, like I had started content creation way back in like the MySpace days. So I like a lot of people, I think I just said it on my recent video that came out. A lot of people think I just started like doing this type of stuff. I stopped doing anything music content related for about 10 years, so you know people forget that. But I've been in the content space. As far as podcasting, my idea to do a podcast really started when I moved away to New Orleans. I was big. I was doing a lot of traveling, and I would listen to podcasts because you know when you're driving a lot by yourself, you don't want to keep trying to find that song to keep you good.
Yeah.
You rather just find your podcast. You ain't got to worry about it for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. So I was big on like the Joe Budden podcast back then. That was my thing. So when I moved back to Warner Robins, I don't want to disrespect anybody because I'm sure it was somebody doing it, but I just wasn't aware of a podcast at that point. So I was like, yo, I think it'd be dope. And even then, you know, I seen Joe Budden them. He was having his homeboys, you know, just sitting down having a conversation, kind of like everybody. Like, yo, me and my team, we would just have a podcast. So that's what I wanted to do. So me and my guy Chris Crawford, I had to say Crawford because I got shucks right here. But me and my guy Chris Crawford, we originally tried it the first time. A lot of people don't know. We tried it the first time. Didn't really do nothing. We were just like everybody else. We just went live on Facebook. Nobody really paid it attention. And then that's when I decided, you know, I started doing more research into it. And that's when I really got into like analytics, metrics, and learning. All right, well, it didn't get any attention because you didn't put a lot of effort into it. Like I learned early on, if it looks low quality, they treat it low quality. Right. So, all right, let me rebrand it. Let me start, you know, investing into some stuff. And even then, quote unquote investing was like a $200 Sony mic. So even now I didn't really invest much, but it was more than before.
Yeah.
So as I started putting more into it, more time into it, and learning the numbers, that's when it started to grow to what it is today. But yeah, I'd be lying if I said like I planned it to be this. I just wanted to have somewhere for me and the homies really just kick it at. Hey, it worked.
And like your episodes are pretty different because the podcast that I usually watch, like usually be like 1 or 2 people, but you be having like a whole team in your house doing an episode. So it was like, and it was like great marketing as well because you know when you're a podcaster, you know getting guests can be hard, but also the same thing. A lot of people like to talk about themselves, and a lot of people like to, you know, have some presence. Even though they might be doing something small or something like that, or somebody's just trying to promote themselves like a business or whatever. And I like the fact that like everybody on there had their own different idea of what they're doing, but they also can all relate on one particular topic. So I thought that was innovative. And like a lot of times like your podcast is like you will ask questions, but it will literally live by itself based on the other people there. So you can be like, so how do y'all feel about this? Da 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 da. And then you get so many perspectives. So that was one great thing. And I remember I was on one of yours. It was for content creation. Mm-hmm. And before we even started, he was like, I'm not really sure about the questions that I got, but we're just gonna go with it. And literally, it was just like as soon as you asked a question, like everybody just took it and was like, okay, let's run with it?
Lucky for me, because I've done it now for so long, I can kind of like, when I first started, I couldn't get away with that, just be honest. I had to go really do serious research on my questions. Like I used to plan out, like, all right, well, what happens if these people say this? All right, I'm gonna go here. If they say this, I'm gonna go there. Like I truly had to put real work in. And it's not to say I don't put work in still, but now, like people, I set the tone. They know what to expect. They know how to answer. They know the vibes that we're trying to create. So now I can kind of get away with more. So, hey guys, I don't know about these questions, but now I know the people coming. So before, I didn't know how people were going to do, so I kind of need to hold your hand. Now as it starts to grow, people start watching and they know what to expect. I don't have to do as much. I can hit you with some questions I'm not as confident about because I'm more confident in y'all. Kind of switched before, not gonna lie. Really wasn't confident in the panel because they hadn't really been to nothing like this, so gotta walk their hand. But after they've done it a few times, you can switch. All right, I don't have to have any serious questions because I know what they're gonna do with it. So that just goes to having great people show up and kind of just setting the expectation of what to expect when they show up.
So like starting from back then to like now, I see you and Chris really work together real well on a lot of projects. Do you think y'all more like a team collaboration when it comes to the podcast, or more like individual outside things?
What do you mean by that? Make sure I answer this correctly.
Like, so I see y'all like doing like, cause you do a lot of photography like schools, you do it for individuals and all this stuff. Also, you also help with the podcast.
Yeah, so shout out him, my guy. I met him last year. Met him when y'all came to the park for that first basketball game.
Yeah.
I showed up with Rock Out, done played on Rock Out team, but I got my own company. You know, I got my own company. I do my own thing. But when I came across these guys, you know, I came for the love. So anytime they had something, I was showing up with the camera. Might end up filming, might not. You know what I mean? So definitely, I would say we're our team when it comes to the podcast. If he ever need me, he don't show up for him.
Sure.
So it is. You can't say it's
Yeah, I would say definitely. It's like a team of independent contractors is what I would say. Just because, like I said, I don't want to say they are a part of my team, but like he said, he owns his own business, so I don't want to make it seem like he's under me because he's not. He was killing it before, he's killing it after. But he's definitely somebody truly vital. Like anytime I have something like really going on where I need a cameraman, he already know he the first call. Him, King Concept, Lacey's Visuals, anybody who really taps in and shows they serious. I tell everybody, you know, because I don't let nobody work for free. Now, I'm not going to front, you know. At first, we weren't making that much, so obviously everybody was doing it more for the love. But as, you know, as my price start to rise, their price start to rise. And so anytime I have an opportunity, you know, I definitely try to throw it to them. One, even if it's a situation like Chris, know, even some videos I do that I didn't charge nobody to do, I still come out my own pocket and try to give them something. Like, I don't want nobody, what I call working in the red. Because I do appreciate them, I appreciate their talent. Obviously, I wouldn't work with him as much if I didn't believe in his talent. And the fact, like he said, when he showed up, he didn't want nothing. He was just, hey man, I like what you got going on, bro. If you need me, you know, hit me.
Yeah.
So, you know, first time I could return that love, I did, and you know, it is crazy because Chris is super talented, but a lot of people hit me like that. And you know, I give everybody a chance, but like I tell everybody, I might work with you once out of the love, but if I hit you again, that means I actually like your work. Sure. So that's a testament to him. Like I said, because I don't want to make it seem like he is a part of my team, but he's doing his own thing. So I don't want to wrap him underneath me because he don't need me.
With your photography and everything, it's amazing by itself. Your company is amazing. I love the marketing that y'all do individually. Like, I always see you on my Instagram. I always see you on my Facebook and Instagram constantly promoting your stuff, which that's something that this year I would like to learn how to do myself. You know, always constantly promoting myself, always constantly having content out there. So I think that's one of the big things when it comes to promoting yourself in general, is just always having that content out there. So when you had the start, you started doing YouTube and stuff like that, and you got to the 1 million views, when did your mindset hit, like, okay, this is getting bigger, I need to move to a commercial space?
It wasn't even around 1 million views, because like, if you know me, like, if we have real conversations, I said all the time, I care less about the views. Like, right. The views aren't really that important. When I knew it was time to move to a commercial spot, like I said, again, when we started the podcast, it was, you know, just me and the homies. But as I started doing other things like interviews, for people who don't know, I charge for interviews. Like, if you see me sit down with somebody, 9 times out of 10, unless they like a homie at day one, they pay for it. That just is what it is. Part of business at this point. You know, I got something they need the platform, they need notoriety. All right, let's do business. But on the flip side, you're starting to do business with people. One, I don't know, so you already got that, you know, uncertainty. All right, I'm bringing a lot of people to the house. Like, not to try to sound like I'm living like Jay-Z or something, but I got a pretty nice house, you know. It's a lot of nice things in there. So, you know, you may have some people, you never want to say somebody's coming with ill intent, but you know, you basically giving them a free trip to, hey man, I just want to come watch the podcast. The whole time you think you having fun, might be checking out what you got in there to come back. So, you know, there's always the uncertainty. Lucky for me, shout out, nobody did that, knock on wood. But then too, the professional side of it, like I'm charging X amount for you to come sit down to do the interview, which nobody ever had an issue with because again, they don't really care where they're doing it at if they get the end result. Yeah. But on the professional side, you know, I want to raise my prices to reflect, you know, what I'm doing. But then I got you coming to sit in my garage, you know, or sit at my house or things like that. Garage ain't got no AC, no heat, so we really depending on how I feel outside. Right. But, you know, so it's one of those more professional standpoint, you know, as you grow, you can't continue to do that. Like, yeah, when you first start the podcast, every podcast starts at somebody's house, in their living room, garage, you know, kitchen, wherever you filming it at. But as it grows, it needs to reflect that. You can't keep doing that where you started at. You got to grow with the podcast. So eventually, that's why we had to come here. So you know, now we out the house, you know, and this is working at least for now.
So what's the vision for this space? So I know you do a lot of, you know, recording podcast wise, and then also you do studio recording as well. So what's the vision going forward? Are we want to expand this space? Do we want to just make more shows, or what's the thing? Because I know you have a lot of shows already.
Yeah, as far as this space is just a content zone. Like shout out to the owners of this space. They gave me an excellent situation to like, because you got to take baby steps even when you first start. Like Tyler Perry, I know y'all be slowing like. Y'all see the buildings when he first started, it's not where he's at now. Mm-hmm. But you got to take the steps. All right, we left the house, now we in a smaller commercial spot. I tell everybody, this ain't a huge building, but it's a building, it's a commercial building. We finally, you know, and from there, you move to a bigger commercial space, and then you move to the wherever you plan to go. You got to take the steps. So I feel like this is just, it allows me to continue doing what I was already doing, just away from the home. You're starting to separate it. So this space is not the end goal, honestly. It's just somewhere, all right, we can start having, you know, more content-focused areas, more professionalism, and we can then move once we settle that where we wanted at. All right, let's look to a bigger spot, because obviously it's a great spot for what we're doing now, but as things start to get bigger, same thing, you got to go somewhere else. So yeah, that's just kind of the goal, to mainly continue what we were already doing when we was filming out the house, but now in a more professional setting.
Got you. So I know I work like a 9 to 5. Thinking that y'all probably do as well. So you think content creation can take you to a point that that's not the issue anymore?
It's crazy. I actually don't have a 9 to 5 right now. I'm actually about to take another job, not because I need the money, but because I'm bored. Like, because when I first started, I do litigation, which is also why I've always been big on numbers and like contracts, because I handle litigation for insurance companies. So I'm used to dealing with numbers and things like that. But yeah, I haven't worked my actual job in probably 4 months, nobody even knows, but that's because the podcast, I don't have to, the podcast, like once I realized the podcast was like, and don't get me wrong, I was making good money there, but once I realized the podcast was making equal or more money than that, all right, well, I'll just do the podcast. But after I left that job, I'm not gonna front, I'd be bored because I was so used to working, well, I didn't work 9 to 5, it was like 8:30 to like, basically 9 to 5, but I don't like filming during the day. I learned that. Mm-hmm. So like even now that I had the free time, Chris and I'd be bored. Hey bro, you wanna just go hoop? Like yeah, I could book during the day, but this is something I think I needed to learn is I don't like to do it during the day. Mm-hmm. So if I'm gonna still just do it at nighttime, and I'm already booked out at nighttime, because even now people ask me for times, like I still would tell them after like 6. So like if I'm not gonna do it till after 6 anyway, why'd you leave your job? Right. Like now I'm big on I don't want to miss no money. If I'm already not gonna be doing it at that time until that time, then do something else. So especially like usually during the day, like I'll book this space to other people because I don't want to film. So that's why I went ahead and got another job. But I guess technically I didn't need one. I don't want like just sit. So
for sure, maybe. But I do. I got 9 to 5. I part time.
Yeah.
I do 3 days. Mainly because I want to have Well, I'm coming off 2 successful years. Last year was crazy. So
yeah, I saw the numbers that you posted.
yeah,
That's crazy.
That's just last month, but last.
Talk your talk.
Please do.
Yeah, it's been crazy, man. And for me, I like to be able to, sometimes I like, I'll be on the phone. I got people constantly calling me through the day, man. I got a team, we got other guys I work with.
Yeah.
That might need something. We all look out for each other. So I like being able to answer my phone on the fly. You know what I mean? And two, I can make, or rather, I do make, like for a paycheck, what I get from Publix.
Yeah.
I make that per shoot.
Whoa.
So I'm not really gonna want to go to work 5 days out the week.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can have 1 or 2 shoots a week and make. Yeah, and cover that in. So, but at the end of the day, I got a family, I got kids, so.
Definitely.
I think that's the thing with like content creation or photography. You can make a lot of money very quickly, but it's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
So you always have that. I know, and I tell you, it's a weird area you have to be in to where like you're securing yourself, but you're not doubting yourself. Because some people will get a job because they don't think they can make the money.
Right.
That's moving out of fear. Sometimes it's a difference where like I'm gonna get this money, but I'm gonna get this money too. That's a difference in mindset. And like you say, that's never wrong. I mean, you got the time, get the check. You don't leave no money on the table if you got the time for it.
So I think the important conversation to be had is the legal part of having a business, and what are certain things that you have to pretty much put in set in stone so you don't get messed up and you do get guaranteed money and stuff like that. So what are certain things that you really had to learn, legal wise and business wise to make sure your business is actually thriving?
Me, when it comes to on the business side, I think somebody asked me this a while ago. I do a lot of stuff for free. Now, it's also not, like, I'm not one of those people who claim it on my tax. I don't do that. It's not that point. I do a lot of stuff for free because when we get to the legal side of things, I start to think of what's worth filing. Like, because let's say if I charged you for this video and you only pay like $100 whatever. Is $100 really worth my time to get all that paperwork together to make sure my line? Or like if I do a lot of just random community events here. Is it really worth trying to charge you $5 to $10 a person? I got to keep up with that, or can I just do it for free? To me, my thing when it comes down to, because you number one, make sure you're paying the taxes if that's what you're doing. Have the tax money if that's what you're doing. But that's what value of time. To me, my value of time is easier to do it for free and save that time for the stuff because the money equals out eventually. Like between the goodwill, word of mouth, like I don't have to charge y'all $5 to $10 to come to this free event because instead, when I post about it and I get to tag y'all, I'm gonna get to reach somebody who I would never have met had I not been able to tag you, and they gonna sit down with me for a $300 interview. So which one was worth the $10 I gotta keep up with, or the $300 one time I gotta keep up with them? So that's the main thing on the business side of things. You can get away with about anything else, but the taxes. So
that's I agree. That's number one, the taxes. Because when people are when I guess you call it IRS, when they're trying to hit your company, they do it based off what they think you make. So it's not, they ain't looking at accurate numbers. If they feel like you're making $1 million, they gonna hit you with this giant tax. So yeah, that's number one. So,
and that's the thing. They think, like he said, they think you make $1 million. You got to be able to show them I can make $1 million. Because if you can't show them you made nothing, like common sense will say, all right, hold on, you might didn't make $1 million, but you didn't make nothing either. Hold on. So if you can't prove it, guess which one they gonna decide you made? Whatever they thought you made anyway.
Yeah, so your books always have to be in line.
Yeah, your books gotta be in line.
And that's one of the main reasons I mainly take digital payments. Because you can always just scroll up on Cash App or whatever. You always have them transactions.
I do Cash App or PayPal invoice. For the bigger ones, I do the invoice. Just because it keeps it somewhere too. Like I'm OCD even before I ever started the business. So I have receipts from like 2013 that I went to Walmart on. Just because if anything ever comes back, I have it in the filing cabinet. I can go find it for you down to the month, down to the week. Like I'm OCD. So even on the business side, it was an easy transition because all right, now I just got a separate filing cabinet for like the podcast and things like that. And lucky for me, like YouTube, things like that, the Google AdSense, they all send you the stuff monthly. So it's nothing but like printing it out sometimes or they mail it to you, put it in your filing cabinet for that month, and you got, it's easier to track, especially because like I do a lot of things, but again, I pick and choose what I want to be paid for. So that's why it's easy. Like, all right, if I got it, it's because I know I need it, or it's past a threshold that is worth my time. So that'd be the main thing I tell everybody. Don't be so thirsty to get paid for everything. One, because I guess this is, I don't know, I'm not gonna say that because I don't want to move past the questions you asking, but yeah, that's
Go ahead.
what I would say to that, because I see a lot of content creators who like, if you can't tell, the money is usually the least important thing to me, because again, we get money from other places. Like we not hurting for the bread, we gonna make the money through YouTube, honestly. Like this build, YouTube pays for this building by itself. If I decided to do everything in here for free, I could.
Mm-hmm.
But what I tell people is, like, let's say you wanna, I don't think you do interview. I guess this technically is an interview, but like you do like interviews through the podcast. Like I'll legit do a video that's strictly not a podcast. It is an interview.
Right.
But what I tell people, because there's other podcasts who want to do that, well, if you want to charge somebody, they need to see the value in it. Like even this is the value in it. Like you see who I can reach, who I can get out to. You can follow me online to see who I can connect with. I have industry ties from my time with music. Like there's value, million views. I don't put that there for fun. I put that there because, so especially rappers, they got an ego. What do they want to say? Hey man, I was on this platform, million view platform, man, I'm doing my thing.
Right.
Like, okay, to me, if you know me, it's not that serious to me. Like, it's not that serious. But to them, it's a bragging point. So, okay, now you got that opportunity to brag. There's a cost associated with that. So, the thing is, like, if you just start a podcast, you may not have a million view podcast. But you need to have something to offer these people if you want to charge them. Like, have a good conversation ain't enough. Because, I mean, to be real, they can care less if it's a good conversation if they can get the eyes. Like, it shouldn't be that way, but it is that way if we talk in business sense. So a lot of podcasts fail because they so quick to go chase that $75, $100, whatever you're trying to get, that not nobody booking with you. And if nobody's booking with you, then what content are you putting out? Like who is seeing you? Who is wanting to connect with you? Probably nobody. Mm-hmm. So you fail because of the fact that you can't get nobody there. When had you just started with just really trying to have good conversations and it wasn't about the money, you would have got those videos. You would have got that content for people to see. You'd have been able to grow your content further than what you could have had you just wanted that little $50, $100, whatever you got. Like, if you take the time to build it, everything you didn't get on the front end will come back on the back end. Like, yeah, I could have, when I first started, I probably could have got somebody to pay me $50, $100. But now, if I'm making $300 a video, do I really care about back then? And even then too, the qualities went up. So now you got to learn things, because nothing's worse than somebody seeing something and not feeling like they got their money's worth. Like, man, you charged me $300 for that video, bro. You ain't even got no good audio, bro. You still using your stock lens. You ain't got no roll mic. You ain't got nothing. But you want me to pay you $300 and then just when it come out, I get 53 views. Like, that's when it has a negative connotation. Other than like when I started, I did something called the Rose Garden, which was 100% free. I didn't care if you was a rapper, if you was a cook, if you was a professional chicken nugget eater. I didn't care who you was. If you wanted to sit down with me, we could sit down. I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna give you the respect. I'm gonna give you a real interview, and that goodwill. That's why, like, you rarely hear somebody say something bad about me. You know what I mean? I'm sure somebody does, but it's not really public because, like, man showed us too much love. Like, man sat down with me, you know, when he didn't have to, and now, you know, they be happy. Like, they pushing it forward. Like, that man sat down with me for free. Yeah, he earned it now. Yeah, no, you should go pay him now to go sit down with you because he done built it to that point. But a lot of people never get to that point because had I charged them $50, $100, now they don't really owe me nothing. It was business. So, like, no, they probably aren't bringing my name up in places because, like, wow, we just did business. Like, yo, do you bring up Walmart every time you go shop there? Yeah. No, but if Walmart did like a community event for you and really changed your neighborhood, you might be more willing, hey bro, go shop at Walmart, man, they showing love. Same thing, bro, like if you charge early and then they don't get what they feel like they worth, because if I ain't charge you, then there's no expectation. Whatever you get's what you get and you ain't tripping. But if you do it too soon, that's why a lot of places don't grow, they don't get the quote unquote money, or they only started it because they wanted to make money, and then when they don't make money in the time frame they felt like they should have, they quit because you didn't really do it for the love. You always did it for the end goal. But you can't really skip steps to that because sooner or later you're gonna have to do one or two things. You're gonna have to put the work in. So put it on the front end, or there ain't gonna be no back end because you're gonna be done.
But it's funny. It's funny that you say that because when I first started, my first year, I was shooting out of the Curtis Center. You probably met Larry, right?
Yeah, I think don't let me lie.
Yeah, you know he went to city council. But yeah, I started there. You know, I had a breast cancer awareness event. That was the first time I met him. So he seen me helping. One of my business partners had an event out there, And he seen me, tearing down at the end. He seen, I'm professional in all my events, so I'm super professional. But I guess he was watching the whole event, and after it was over with, I didn't have space. I was still shooting at the house at this time. So at the end, he called me. He was like, "Hey, do you do your photography full time?" I was like, "Nah, not yet. I'm not from here. I'm not from Monroe, so I really got to try to make a name." So he was like, "Well, if you run my building for me part time, but you run my building for me, you can use the space, for your shoot." So he gave me that sweet deal. So basically, I was getting paid to run this building, and I didn't have to pay nothing for shoots on this. Everything I'm making, I'm just bringing it in.
Right.
So it was a win-win. So and he the first person that taught me to when you do free stuff, you get it back. So the more you do free, the more you get back. So that inspired me to do, I did a free headshot day, right? So I did a free headshot day, and a lot of people ended up coming through. Like a lot of people, man. It was like all kind of, because up there, a lot of important people come through. Like all kind of police officers, business owners, you know what I mean? All these important people. And then ironically, on the same day, dude named Otis Nixon, he used to play for the Braves, the legend. He ended up coming down the same day. So I had to take pictures of him. He came down signing autographs and stuff like that. So I was able to get near him and, hey, Mr. Nixon, you get a second. I got the lights and everything set up inside. You want to step inside and take some headshots? Yeah. He did it for sure.
That's dope.
So that was like the first big name person I had did. But yeah, what Larry had told me, to do that, it worked. Yeah. Essentially, that's what kind of took off and got my name out there. Definitely. And that was in the beginning, man. I didn't even have like the best camera, but I did have the setups. I had great lighting, everything like that, so it worked out.
Definitely.
So yeah, doing that free stuff definitely worked.
What people don't realize too, like I'm get behind the curtains. You're either gonna pay for promotion. That means you're gonna pay somebody to try to get your word out. You're gonna pay to talk to me nice. You're gonna pay your podcast. You're gonna pay somebody with some type of exposure to get your word out. Or you can do a free event, use the same exact money, and get the word about the other way. So either way, like some people are like, I don't want to do it for free because I don't work for free. Yeah, you didn't work for free, but now you got to use that same exact money to then try to get goodwill that you could have easily just got by just bringing people in for free. The money going to be spent. It's just how do you choose you want to use it. That's the main thing I tell people too. Because either way, like I'll be big on support what supports you. Like either we both showing love or we both doing business. So like if I see you don't do nothing for free for nobody else, like if I see you always want to charge so to do this or that, and then you hit me trying to ask me, can I do something for you? Of course I can. For this price, like ain't no way we do it for free. What? You don't do nothing for free for nobody. But on the flip side, if I see you always showing love, always supporting, always at people's events, and then you need a favor, hey, you earned that favor. I got you. Say no more.
That's what
That's also a thing I like to talk about. It's like keeping the workflow. So when you get so many people at a time, like how do y'all keep that workflow going? How do you constantly keep on getting content out? How do you constantly keep getting content out?
Well, me, I had to rebuild it back up because I filmed like probably two videos a day, honestly, because I be so booked. So I always had like a bunch of videos already edited, ready to go. So like if I needed to drop a video, I probably got 10 already edited on top of the ones I'm already filming that I can edit then too. One time, and I was talking to Chris about it the other day, I had a hard drive with like 25 videos ready to go. Because I had so many videos done, I couldn't keep them on my computer because it was slowing it down. Got me a little hard drive, like I'm good now, I got these videos whenever I need, so I just pull a video off of here. Hard drive crashed, lost 25 videos. Ooh. So I had to get back to work. Lucky for me, none of those were paid videos. So like they were just like podcast, like your podcast episode was on there. Like,
I was wondering why that never came out.
yeah, I lost a lot of videos, and to this day I still can't get it to work. Like, I done took it to Geek Squad, and now it's like, even if I did get it to work, we done upgraded all the equipment since then. So now I couldn't even probably put them out no more because they look outdated. But so like now I keep a few on my actual computer, and I got like 2 separate computers. I got a scheduling, it's just there to schedule to make sure I'm good, and then I have a computer that actually has more videos on it. So at any time I have 10 videos I could drop. Like if I wanted to go home and drop 10 videos right now, I could. I wouldn't, but I could.
Right.
But then I have a bunch in the stock, and then like just constantly being booked. Like on my schedule, like again, unless it's a podcast or something, if you're on my schedule, you already paid. So like that's another thing. I don't really like usually keep up with people who like, you know, people, hey man, I want to book with you, or I want to do this and that. I don't do the pods either. So like if you're on my schedule and we have a date and time, then I know we're gonna do it because you paid for it and I ain't sending your money back. So that's when we doing it. That's the easiest way to keep up, at least as far as me. I don't know how Chris do it.
Right.
You're based on clients, so like, would yours be like you have a 2-week frame or?
My typical turnaround time, I mean, for photos is 3 days, 3 to 5 days.
That's pretty fast.
Yeah, man, but yeah, of course it changes depending on how booked you are. Right. So there was about a week, 2 weeks, span of 2 weeks where I had to go back and forth to Atlanta. So you know, at that time I ain't got time to hit. So I just have to wait for a free day, and with a free day I have to just sit down and edit pretty much all day. But just like him, I keep something to post. And one of the things that I try to make something separate me between me and other photographers, right? Most photographers don't like being in front of the camera.
Would you do take pictures of yourself?
And I don't take the pictures. You know, one of my guys like Jeremy, Brandon, Drez. I got I work with him and other guys too. They got their own companies, but yeah, I can throw a shoot of me in the mix. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've had clients tell me that makes them feel better about coming to me because I feel like I understand. Cause I used to model.
Oh, okay.
So that's a way for me to incorporate that into my own craft.
So now they know that, like, okay, he models, so now he can probably teach me how to pose a little bit, get my confidence up to I can actually do this.
Yeah. So I understand, because I was just like them. Like before college, I hated taking pictures. But coming across a 5 photographer, like shout out my guy Eric, but he was 5, so I was like, dang, I went along with my other homeboy to his photo shoot, and Eric was like, oh, you know, hey, come on, let's get some photos of you. And they gave out 5. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, I might start doing this. Right. So I did that. So me from doing that with him, I started doing like other people clothing line and stuff, VSU. Like I was in all kinds of stuff with them, man. So, and it was a way for me to incorporate that. Like I do anything with media. So just like him, you know, I do videography, music. I got a music studio at the house too. So anything media, including me jumping in as a model, I try to do all that, man.
Oh, it works.
Yeah, it works. So, but yeah, man, I try to sit on. Like I said, I sit on content, but with nothing else, if I ain't got nothing else to post, I post a picture of myself, and that buy me some time to edit. If I ain't got it.
What I learned too on my end, like on the professional side, like you said, we be having videos to post, like, but I like even at booking, like if you book with me, I make it clear there's no guarantee on your release date. Yeah. Reason being, if you want a guarantee, I got a rush fee. So like, I saw that on the front end because I've had people like, man, my video gonna drop? Because I ain't gonna front. I have so many videos. Especially, I used to do it, and that's when I had to learn. You gotta treat it as a business. I used to drop videos just in the order I filmed them, but after a while, as you start to grow, you realize that's not a very smart method because why would you drop a video you know is not as good as another one solely because it was filmed first? So that's when I had to change how I told people. I used to tell people, hey, I filmed so and so before, so you can kind of track when you gonna drop because you know you film after them. Now I just let you know, hey, I drop the best videos. I film every day, so like if I film a video tomorrow that's better than this one, it's gonna drop before you. And I film so much, you know, I got people, you know, not trying to be far. I got people who've been waiting months for their release. And again, I have a rush fee, so like if you just want to skip that line, then by all means pay the rush fee. The reason behind it is because this is a business at the same time. Like on YouTube, I get paid on YouTube. So if I drop a good video, it's gonna get the views, and not really about the views that's important. It's gonna get the retention, because people who don't know how you get paid on YouTube, you get paid on the retention. How long are they watching the video? Therefore, how many more ads? 'Cause I don't do like a lot of YouTubers who like, cause you can pick how many ads you put in there. I do the basic, like YouTube, bare minimum, you have to put 3 ads. 1 in the front, 1 in the middle, and 1 at the end. That's YouTube. You don't even get to choose any less than that. You see a lot of YouTubers who trying to get a lot of money, or you can really, like, even without knowing a YouTuber, you can kind of know, you can figure out what their watch time is if they front load. Like, y'all ever seen a YouTube video where it's just a bunch of ads right at the beginning? That's because they have low watch time and they know they only got you for probably 5 to 10 minutes.
Wow.
So they need to front load all those ads in there, because if they don't, you won't see them. Therefore, they won't have the retention to get paid. Me, my watch time is about 50 minutes, and I make usually hour videos. So I have a little bit more leeway that, and YouTube will throw in some more ads themselves. Obviously, if it's clear that that's being watched a lot at that certain point, YouTube itself will automatically put an ad in there, because they're not gonna miss their money.
Right.
But if you know you have longer watch time, you don't have to be as thirsty to front load those ads. One, and it's ironic, because I talk to YouTubers about it, and I'm like, you realize your retention is low because you throw so many ads in the front. Nobody wants to stay there. They leave because, like, man, another ad? No, I'm good. I don't even watch this video no more.
Right.
So you don't even get the chance to really push them out because they're all right there. But what was my point on that? The reason is, that go back to what I was saying about the videos. If I know I'm putting out a lesser video, that means I know people probably aren't going to watch it the whole time. So if you want your video out immediately, that's where the rush fee come out at, because nobody's going to watch it long enough. Therefore, I'm not going to get the money from YouTube. So guess who I need to get the money from then? Got to be from you then. That's the only way to make it make sense for the release to come so soon. So that's why I tell people, your video will release eventually, but I always leave eventually. Yeah, one day it'll come out. But I make no guarantees. One, because I be so busy, and two, I don't like to make guarantees on things and then now I have to make a bad business decision because I'm big on keeping my word. Like, I know this because I that comes from experience. I've done that before. Hey man, your video's gonna drop on this day. That I film a better video. I told him I'm gonna drop his, so let me go ahead and still drop it. Right. So I learned, hey, stop telling people you're gonna drop it then. Like, hey, when it comes, it comes. When it's gonna come, I don't know. If you really need it out for whatever reason, send me the rush fee. It'll be out.
And that's the thing with, why Locke got me at the podcast is that now we're trying to add video into the situation, and we're trying to constantly do Spotify and Apple Podcasts, right? And we're trying to do Monday. We're trying to have this mindset of like, okay, if we drop the Spotify and Apple Podcast episode on a Friday or fuck the Friday, so that's what we like to call it. And then on Mondays, we'll drop the video. So technically we can promote it both times, but sometimes it just gets to a point that like, I wish I had that standpoint, because like a lot of times there might be an episode that I'm just like, I'm really not passionate about, and the next time we do it, this one could really hit harder than the other one, but we just did it at the wrong time, this and that. So that's why I'm just like, when it comes to like making episodes, like, do y'all just like, sometimes do y'all redo them, or do y'all redo a shoot? You just feel like this is not it, like.
I've only done that as far as redoing. Like I've had podcast episodes that I did. Like, it's one way early on. We tried to talk about being black in America, and it was not the right panel. That's the only bad thing about when you have a panel of people that's not the same. Yeah. You always draw a risk of you have the wrong people there. Right. So like, I had that one time. We tried it. It was very ignorant. I'm not even gonna front. It was not. It was not what it needed to be. I cut the camera off. Told them, hey, this ain't it. I will not release this. I'm about to call some more people to see if we can change it up. Brought a new panel in that night, just as bad. Sometimes you just gotta know when it's not your day. Right. So eventually, hey, everybody let me know y'all make it home. It's not dropping. And even on my podcast, I used to have that issue that I didn't want to waste people's time. And to me, when I first started, that meant if you come out and you come to my house to film with me, I'm not gonna waste your time by not releasing it. Mm-hmm. But as I got bigger and understood things, me not wasting your time is once I realized I don't like this. Because again, at first I was still going through with the whole episode, knowing I didn't like it. Mm-hmm. But as I got bigger, me not wasting your time is once I realized this ain't coming out. Hey, cut the camera. Hey, y'all have a good night. Like, I ain't wasting no. That to me became, I'm not gonna waste your time no more because I can't put this out. Right. Like, and that's something like as you turn it more from a hobby to a business, you gotta know that. Like, if especially on YouTube, if you know the thing in your back of your mind has to be your retention. Like, if it's boring to you while you filming it, guess what? It's boring to people watching it. So either you need to find a way as you're filming to make this more interesting to save it, or you need to cut that camera and let them know, hey, this ain't it. This ain't it.
And that's the one big fear of my podcast. It's just like, if it don't come out, then nobody's gonna care. Nobody's gonna watch it. Nobody's like, people gonna forget if I miss a week, or people gonna forget me completely. But I guess it's literally quality over quantity.
Yeah, and I've had even an interview, like Chris, you can't, I ain't gonna say who it was, but I had an interview that was, I mean, straightforward, it was horrible.
Yeah.
And usually, I don't refilm. I even had a lab recently we did again, because same thing, wasn't that good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's try it one more time. Usually I don't do that, but I like the guy, I really like the guy, came super respectful. We tried it again, it was better. And then the same thing with the lab. Now, the lab, I'm not gonna find it, they get better. But at the same time, we had that conversation, and it was like, yo, because when I do a reshoot, because these people paid, I did a reshoot for free, so I could have had somebody else pay for that slot. I did it for you again for free. But like the lab wasn't better because they came equally as unprepared, and they chose the day for the reschedule. So it was like now you're kind of disrespecting my time, because like this ain't even better. You're not even like ready still. So that's not on me no more. Like we tried, that's on you, and I'm not rescheduling it again. You know, I don't know what you want to do with this video, but I even then I was straightforward. As soon as we got done, I'm gonna let you know that this video ain't gonna come out. Like if it come out, you gonna be waiting a long. It's gonna be out so long from now that you are gonna forget we filmed it.
Yeah.
And she was like, I appreciate your honesty. I was like, yeah. It's like at this point, we filmed one time, it wasn't good. I gave you a chance to come back and make it better. You did. So like. I think that's the confusion as you get bigger, like as your platform grows, people just assume they don't have to be good because your platform will do the work for them. Like, yeah, that's not the case. Like I tell everybody, like, yo, the lab does good numbers, but still retention. Like that's why I tell people, please never fall in love on YouTube with views. Like, if you get 10,000 views, all that shows is, one, I have 16,000 subscribers, they get a notification when I drop a video. All that shows is they clicked the notification. They did not watch your video. Like, that's the difference in retention and views. Like, even when I sit down with, like, other podcasts, usually, hey, what's your retention? Or I get views. But honestly, behind the curtain, I can care less if you get views. You can pay for views, just to be sure. You can pay for that. Like, what's your retention? Like, or somebody say, oh, I'm monetized on YouTube. No, you've had a YouTube for 10 years. So I would hope over that time you managed to get 4,000 watch hours. Show me your Google AdSense. That's another thing. You could tell, like, who ain't really doing it. Because Google AdSense, like, yeah, you might have ads, but you don't get enough views or retention to ever meet the threshold to get a YouTube check. So, like, if they go to their Google AdSense and it's not set up, that's because you never passed the threshold. So, like, yeah, you're monetized, but you don't get no views. And then again, that go back to they got a lot of views and they're not monetized and their AdSense ain't set up because you never met the threshold. So then how you got X amount of views, but you didn't meet the threshold? Kind of self-explanatory.
Right,
like,
so it make sense.
Yeah, so it's a lot of tricks of the trade behind YouTube I can get into all day, but that's why I don't really do a lot of collabs, because like, I know the numbers, like, yeah, you can fool them with it, and that's cool by all means, but once you get deeper into the game, you start to learn little things people are doing, which I ain't knocking it, you know, that's anything, even like in music, the industry, the machine does all that stuff for people, so it's not necessarily wrong with it. You just gotta kind of know who you're dealing with, even on the business side.
So you have a story where you like deal with like people that wasn't prepared or wasn't.
Now, when it comes to photography and being unprepared, for me, the biggest unpreparation I would say is some of the women not wearing makeup. Like with us, y'all think we're magicians. We not. We go based on what y'all give us. So people who spend money on spend good money on their makeup, you're gonna see it in the picture.
Yeah.
You're gonna see it before you edit it.
Right.
It's
actually gonna make the before the raw photos better. Actually.
Yeah. So and for me, having a reshoot, haven't really had to do that. Now I'm big on because you pay my price, I make sure you get what you need before you leave.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm gonna show you when we finish the session. I'm gonna show you everything we got. Show you if you don't like some of the poses or whatever, we can retry. But if you just don't like your look, that's on you. If you don't like your outfit, that's on you. That's not really something I can control. So that's the way I do that. Now with videos, that's a little harder. You know what I mean? You can film a video and reshow it. You know, you can show it to them after you show the whole thing, but are you gonna really sit there right afterwards and refilm that whole video?
No.
You didn't give me
myself, if the video ain't good, like only thing I can think of is like when I do interviews, I ask everybody to send me a summary ahead of time. Reason being, it's a map. So like, you know what we about to talk about. So like, I've had one where like they send me a summary and then act confused on the question, like, bro, I'm only asking you this because you told me this. Yeah. So like, it wasn't good, but it's like, what do you want me to do? Like, you gave me the map for this, and like that's the one we tried again. So like, we tried it again, cool, it's better. But I mean, usually you can't really do much. Like, if the video's bad, I mean, like I said, what I do in the moment, I'll try to correct it, see if we can fix it and make it, end strong. But hey, if we got all the way through and it's not good, it's just not good. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, I feel like if you do a bad video, you ain't gonna want to try to fix it right after.
No.
They gonna have to come every back. They probably was nervous.
Because if you get through a whole bad video, the vibe is gone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The energy's not there. We cut it back on. At this point, we just trying to fake it to make it better. You just got to either try it again another day or just take your L, move on. Like, it's not a good video.
So, and then just like y'all, man, you don't have to post everything. So best believe all the pictures I posted, that ain't every shoot I did. So it's like you got your favorites. Like me, if I like the one I did with Coco, I ain't got to touch him yet. Hopefully I can do it today, but them pictures came out 5. So and I didn't really know, I didn't know she was as popular as she was.
Yeah, Coco killing it.
I seen all the views and stuff she got for just doing that little video. I'm like,
that's Queen Coco for a reason.
Yeah, she cool people though, and cinematographer, but I'm getting her stuff today. And then I got a gaming shop, like more marketing.
Yeah, you look.
But they're busy, man. You don't play no games.
Hey, man, we had first. It went always like that, so that's a grind, man. For real networking.
Definitely.
And you been boss me before.
Yeah,
I thought that was you. I was like,
and that's
Did you write back?
Yeah.
It's the thing with like networking. Shout out to my friend Asia. You probably know her.
Yeah, of course. Shout out Asia, of course.
She's the reason I even knew about any of this, and I was just like, okay. And that's why I showed up to the podcast, and then when I saw your work with him, I was like, okay, so let me get with you. I was like, because I probably will have questions about camera soon or something like that. So networking has definitely been like a big thing. Just opening my mouth, just talking to people, or being like, hey, if you need anything, need help or anything, I'm here and stuff like that. So yeah, I feel like with your podcast, I learned about community a lot. I learned about how to really gravitate towards people. I learned about networking and stuff like that. So I really do appreciate y'all for just showing up and doing what y'all need to do and stuff like that. So y'all been doing an excellent job and just keep going on that,
Trying to be open to because I find respect when y'all come to me and ask me questions about my craft, or y'all have a camera, y'all feel like I would know the answers. I find that respect, y'all, that's respect. So I really appreciate stuff like that. You know what I mean? And it's people from my hometown that reach out. It's a lot of people that actually reach out with questions.
For sure.
And I'm like that. I always treat it as respect. I don't really treat it as being cocky. And I'm like, dang, people really look at it like I really know what I'm doing.
I'm the same way with the podcast. Like, I love to help everybody, but like I tell people, you gotta kind of know where you're at within the market. Like me, I'm big around here, but in the grand scheme of things, I'm still small. But even like, if I was gonna go to like Joe Budden's podcast and ask him for help, it's a certain way you're supposed to come.
Yeah.
But like the issue with like a lot of podcasts, like like I said, a lot of podcasts recently reached out to me, wanted to sit down, and I declined most, all of them. Actually, all of them, but you, when I think about it.
Appreciate it.
But the reason is because they won't come like, hey, I love what you're doing. I'm just trying to come get some game from you because you're killing it. Like, no, they'll come like we equals, which respectfully, we not. Like, it is what it is. Like, within the market right now, we number one. Not to say somebody else won't come up there, but to me, it's about like knowing who you are and being respectful about it. The same way I wouldn't come to so-and-so and act like I'm on the same level as them. Like, if you're just starting out, if you're not even in like the YouTube game, then one day we might be equals. As far as today, we aren't. Like, it just is what it is. So, but some people will sell it to me like, I had I ain't gonna say who it is because it was another little podcast. Like, hey, bro, we should do a collab. You come on my video, then I'll come on yours. And same thing I ask everybody, send me your attention, your watch time, we ain't have none. It just is what it is. I was like, yo, respectfully, bro, it's not a collab. Yeah. Like, a collab is where we both get something from that. There's nothing I'm gonna gain from sitting down with you. But again, had he shown love and came respectful, I probably still would have did it just because if I rock with you, we good, but I don't need nothing from you. But he came with more like, hey, nah, man, like, if you sit down with me, this gonna be your biggest video. Well, bro, you know, I got a couple 100,000 view videos, so like, if you don't average that many views, so like,
well, ain't gonna be everybody.
Yeah, that's why I don't like when people make me kind of like break down the business of it. Like when you tell me it's gonna be your biggest video because you're here. Yeah. If that's the case, like, well, why don't you have bigger videos? So that's when you gotta like. I don't never want to check nobody's ego because like you should think like that. You should think you're the best. But when you come to do business, you gotta still like don't offend somebody trying to get what you want. Like, like come on, bro, you ain't did it on your own, but you telling me when you come with me, you gonna elevate me. Like I had one guy too, he still be reaching out to me. I leave him on red, I ain't gonna front. He had told me on my podcast, when I hit 1 million views, he said, yo, you hit 1 million views, congrats, that's dope. But he's like, fuck all that. He was like, you need to really learn how to do this. So this is what I'll do. I'll come to your podcast for you. You sit down with your panel, like in the crowd. I'll take over and show y'all how to do this. I'm like, yo, wow.
Basically saying replace you.
Yeah. And then, I went and looked at his page. I'm like, bro, you got 12 subscribers. You averaging 8 views a video. You've been doing this longer than me.
I love the confidence.
Yeah. He was like, yeah, no, I don't think I'm gonna pass. I don't even respect that, but I'm gonna pass. But but like, you always show love. Like I said, support what supports you. You know, you show love always. That's what I told you. I got you. Let's sit down. Let's do this. Because it's genuine love, and I actually that's another thing, because I had people who hit me out, hey bro, shout out this or that for me and tell them you rock with it. Like, I can't really do that because I don't know you and I'm not about to co-sign you. But like, if I co-sign you, yeah, of course you want to sit down, by all means, let's sit down, let's talk, show you some love, hopefully, use the exposure we have, not to say we have a lot of exposure, but use the connections we have to hopefully, like you said, somebody you knew brought eyes to me for you, and hopefully we can reverse that, and somebody who knows me and maybe doesn't know you see this and want to watch it. And I like the fact that you're killing it on your own too, so don't shortchange yourself, because there's a lot of people who just assume Talk to Be Nice gets 20,000, 30,000 views. Let me just sit down and talk to be nice, and they all gonna come over here to me. Like, nah, that's not how it works. That's not how it works.
The growth this year, because I've been consistent, has been phenomenal. So that's also a thing, like just being consistent in general is just a beautiful thing. So, man, I'm actually gonna end it on that. I really do appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? Thank y'all so much for even allowing me to be in y'all space, be in y'all time, and God bless y'all on everything, all your endeavors. And I really do appreciate y'all, man.
No, this is fine. Anytime you need us, we here.
For sure. If y'all want to shout out y'all socials and stuff like that, I'm gonna go and put it on there anyway.
Right.
But I'm an old head, bro. I be having no ad. It's insane. Like, people who think like all my socials is the same. Like, I'm not joking. I have a very bad memory, so like they have to be the same. It's Lawrence Ray. Lawrence Ray on Facebook. Lawrence Ray on IG. And if I could put Lawrence Ray on YouTube, I would. But it's LRW3 on YouTube.
Follow me on Facebook at Chris Shumpard. IG CEO_Shumpard Photography. Yep, that's where you find me at.
And this is why at the podcast. Thank you so much for listening and watching the podcast. And also, man, please rate us on Spotify and Apple. And also, remember, please don't let anyone have you effed up. And y'all stay blessed.